Hello and welcome to Dingoes Ate My Podcast. I'm Paul,
And I'm Dave.
and this week we're discussing the episode Blood Money. This episode originally aired January 23rd, 2001, attracting approximately 4.75 million viewers. Now, before we get into the episode, let's talk about some video games. Alrighty, so between the time of this episode airing and the next episode airing, there's oh boy, do we have a couple of biggins.
Because again, it's a couple weeks between the two.
It's only 2 weeks, but there's some biggins. So, January 29th, there's a game on the PS2 called Oni, which I've never heard of. It's Oni.
Oni.
Apparently, it was made by Bungie. It was kind of like their precursor to. I think this might have come out before Halo. I'm not sure.
No, not specifically familiar with it.
When did Halo come out? I feel like Halo came out later this year.
I think with Combat Evolved, yeah, I believe in 2001 it was around end of the year, I think it released.
Yeah, so Halo 1, November 15th. So this would have been their game prior to that. Also on January 29th, if you weren't feeling like the third-person kind of shooter for Windows or PS2, and you had a Dreamcast, and you're in North America, which there weren't many of you, but there were some, there was a little game called Phantasy Star Online that came to North America.
Oh, there you go.
And if you weren't really into that, and you had a PS2, the next day on January 30th, you got... not an original game, a port of a great game, Rayman 2, The Great Escape.
Yes. Very much the needs.
And if that wasn't really your thing, and you were still playing on your PS1 for some reason, or later on Windows, you could pick up this little game called Mega Man X5 on the 31st of January. Now, normally that would be enough to satisfy 2 weeks' worth of gaming. However, Nintendo decided they were like, well, we haven't dropped a massive game in like 4 weeks. So on February 5th, on the Nintendo 64, they released this little game that I'm sure nobody's ever heard of called Paper Mario.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a good one. And like, I'm not even like a big Paper Mario fan, but like, it's a good game.
It is.
Yes, so that was what folks would have been playing around the time of this episode. So we move on now to the number one movie in America this week. Any guesses?
Nothing immediately coming to mind with the start of the year with this. I'm kind of hoping and praying that it was different from last week, if that one only sat for so long. Nothing else is immediately coming to mind.
Unfortunately, it is still Save the Last Dance, although this time only bringing in $15.3 million for this week. Although it will be replaced soon by better films.
Usual things go along. Thank goodness in both cases.
And finally, we move on to the number one song in America this week. And do you have any guesses, or do you know what it is?
Just with that comment, I'm guessing Destiny's Child is still holding its position fairly well.
Shockingly, they are still the number one. They're still number one with their song Independent Women. Which, I mean, hey, they must have made a fuck ton of money off that song.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, let us move on to the episode. Okay. We start off at Cordelia's apartment. Wesley and Gunn are playing the board game Risk, which, that's fantastic. Although they could have picked a better board game, I'm just saying.
Suppose they could have, but again, would it have matched up just right with the particular way that they pulled the scene off, or would it have looked a little bit weird if they did that with Monopoly or something?
I said a better board game, Dave. That would not be Monopoly.
Duly noted.
Monopoly is a terrible game, in my not so humble opinion. I'm just saying, like, Settlers of Catan was already out for a couple of years at this point. They could have picked that. Anyway,
How many people actually know of that game when it first came out, though?
it would have been out for like, it came out like 95, I think. It had been out for a while at this point. But
But again,
I
how
get your
many
point.
people would have known?
I get your point. Anyway, they're playing the board game Risk until Cordelia tries to kick them out so she can sleep. They discuss plans to start their own company without Angel until Cordelia gets a vision about a large, two-headed, fire-breathing, well, not fire-breathing, more like fire-flatulating demon.
Yeah.
Angel bumps into a woman who runs a teen center. Although the encounter seems innocent enough, at the hotel it is revealed that Angel engineered it so he could take her wallet, and he also has dozens of pictures of her, including shots of her with Lindsay. Dun dun dun. Wesley and Gunn slowly approach the demon in the sewers and find themselves in over their heads with a 20-foot demon.
Yeah, you need to fight the forces of evil. They have them 20-foot demons.
Angel confronts Muriel in his apartment, demanding information about Anne, the woman running the shelter. She's connected to Wolfram and Hart, so Angel visits the shelter and talks to her. Anne raves about Wolfram and Hart's help with the shelter, and their plans for a charity fundraiser called the Highway Robbery Ball, designed to gain donations with the help of celebrities. A large demon named Boone confronts Muriel for information on Angel, and Muriel is persuaded to provide that information, primarily by having his hand broken.
Yeah, that. Yeah, no, just that. It wasn't until later that he got the severe beating.
Yeah, Muriel gets the shit end of the stick a lot.
Yeah.
He does, the poor bastard. Angel surprises Lila in her car and expresses his happiness at being able to play the game now that he understands there aren't any rules. Lila tells Lindsay how worried she is about Angel, but their discussion is cut short as Boone arrives unannounced, wanting to help Wolfram and Hart in order to deal with a grudge against Angel. Boone explains his past with Angel and the fact that they have a battle to finish, because, they fought for 3 days and there wasn't a winner.
And he was also one of those particular honor-bound kind of people. In the case of, oh man, I need to get my honors no matter the what. It's like, I don't want any money. This is our honors case. And it's just, ugh.
Wesley and Gunn rave about slaying the demon, and despite their incredible fear, they're excited about their victory. The group leaves to look at a prospective location for their new business while arguing over its name, which is very good.
Yes,
because they all want to name it after themselves.
Yes, exactly. Just went from Price Industries and just what?
Oh yeah,
Cordelia just. But case of just gun. It's like, oh yeah, I'm sure everyone would appreciate going to that particular one for protection.
It's very good. Lila and one of her thugs accost Muriel for information while Angel shows up at the sewer late at night and uses the pretext of bringing her some clothing donations. The clothes are some that Cordelia had left at the Hyperion, and jokingly asks if he's stalking her. Angel offers all the evidence necessary to confirm that, well, he is. And then tries to warn her that Wolfram and Hart are going to steal the money from the fundraiser. Lindsay arrives and pretends to be protecting Anne, bringing Boone with him to fight Angel. Lindsay tries to defend the law firm to Anne, but the information Angel's provided her worries Lindsay, and he discusses the dangerous possibilities with Lila. Wounded from the fight, Angel returns to the shelter and tells Anne tells Angel that she's worked out he's a vampire, but that doesn't faze her, even stating that she thought vampires were cool until she met one. Dun dun dun.
It usually is.
That might be a bit of... we'll get into it. She states that she's seen terrible things happen to kids on the streets of LA and is willing to ignore just about anything if it means aid to the shelter. Angel points out that out of all the money raised at the charity ball, she'll likely only see about 5% of it. But Anne tells him that even even that would be enough to keep the shelter running for a couple of years, which the math doesn't make sense there because she says she can run the shelter for 100 grand for a couple of years, and that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and even with what she was saying, with receiving the donations, with what she was kind of running on, that's not going to last you a year, sweetie.
I mean, 100 grand in 2001, they might have been able to squeak out a year. Like, maybe.
Yeah, it would have been a bit of a trick, though.
Yeah, it wouldn't be easy, but there's no way you're going to run on that for multiple years. Uh, Angel urges her to think about where the other 95% is going, telling her that the money she'll make from the party will have blood on it even if she can't see it. He asks her to get him inside the fundraiser, telling her he has his videotape with footage that will expose Wolfram and Hart, assuring her it's the right thing to do. Anne reminds him that all she cares about is helping the kids at the shelter and refuses. Okay, so now we head to the ball. And we see a video of Holland playing, talking about the shelter. Uh, Basically, they're trying to make Wolfram and Hart look good using this whole fundraiser. And they have like some celebrities there that are robbing the guests of their donations. And it's a whole thing to make Wolfram and Hart look good.
Whole sequence of things. I'd have to agree with the actors within the scene.
It's good stuff. Okay, where was I now? So Lindsay reviews the security plans for the ball and basically says, make sure Angel doesn't get in the fucking building. That's his primary concern.
Which, fails.
Especially when Angel reveals his presence, which leads to a fight between the vampire and Boone on the balcony. And they eventually fall to the main floor. Lindsay searches for the incriminating tape, but it's revealed that Angel is not in possession of the tape, and, well, Boone is actually working with him. With Lindsay and Lila on the other side of the room, it's Anne who had been actually persuaded to help, who's the one to get the tape to the player. Lindsay and Lila stumble across the floor to stop her, an act that is captured on film, but fail and the tape plays, but it only contains clips of Cordelia and Wesley acting goofy for the camera. It becomes quickly apparent that Angel never really had anything to incriminate the lawyers in the first place. He was just trying to embarrass them. A plan that has worked thanks to their frenzied attempt to stop him. To add even more embarrassment to the situation for Wolfram and Hart, Boone took off with the donations and confronts
Yeah, the main thing that they were hoping for.
Exactly. And confronts Angel, accuses him of having no intention of exposing Wolfram and Hart's scheme, and he confirms this, saying that they would have only covered it up, so he's willing to settle to make the farm look bad. And reminds him that she's lost all the charity money, but Angel tells her that he doesn't care, reminding her that the money was tainted, and leaves. Lindsay and Lila are hauled in front of Nathan for losing the money, embarrassing the firm, and hiring an assassin to kill Angel, who was actually in league with him. He warns them to start accumulating victories fast. When Lindsay demands to know why they can't just be allowed to kill Angel because he's such a pain in the ass, Nathan informs him that according to various prophecies, Angel will play a key role in the upcoming apocalypse. What isn't known, however, is whose side he will be fighting on. Wolfram and Hart are keen for Angel to have been turned evil by that point, and his obsession with Lindsay and Lila they're hoping it can contribute to that. Nathan finishes by warning the two that Angel is invaluable to them. Well, they're kind of replaceable. Angel
Yeah,
jump.
The
Yes,
kind of big thing with them surviving through all this shit, just being like, yeah, that doesn't really matter. Angel's the big player in this. You guys are replaceable.
exactly. As Angel dumps his files on Anne, he finds Boone waiting for him in the hotel's lobby. He isn't surprised he came back. Boone throws the bag containing the charity donations, which amounts to about $2.5 to $3 million, down in front of him, willing to lay it on the line for a fight between the two of them. Angel tells Boone he's gambling a lot, and Boone responds that he just has to know who would win. The two then launch themselves at each other. Later, a battered but victorious Angel presents the money and jewelry to Anne for the shelter, telling her she'll need to hide it from Wolfram and Hart. Anne, undisturbed by the real and symbolic blood on the money, accepts it.
What's this on the money? Blood. Yeah, that's fine. I can wash it off.
It's so good. So, I have a question for you, Dave. Do you recognize the character of Anne? Because
Her.
technically, we've seen her previously, but not with that name.
I see. I vaguely remember you mentioning that we would see this character again. I can't remember the specific episode though, and especially while watching it, it's nothing that immediately came to mind.
Okay, that is understandable. So, if we go back in time, we go all the way back, way, way, way back, to the second season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, there we go.
You'll remember there was an episode called Lie to Me.
Yes.
She was in that episode, although her character was named something different. She was named Chantel, or Chanterelle, sorry. That was their first encounter. She would also turn up, if you remember the episode Anne, where Buffy ran away and took on the name Anne, and there was another waitress there named Lily.
Oh, okay.
That was also this character. So she's kind of come in and out a few times.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, so it's a fun little thing. They've brought her back a few times. Okay, so now for international titles for this episode, unfortunately, there's only one, but it's a pretty good one. In both French and German, it translates as "dirty money."
Ah, there you go. Matches pretty much with it.
Yeah, no, it's a perfectly acceptable international title. It's perfectly fine. Now, if there's nothing else about this episode, next week we will be discussing the episode Happy Anniversary.
Wait, which anniversary?
Okay, so we're going to have two major plot lines in this episode. One is going to be Angel and Lauren are going to team up to search for a quote-unquote normal man whom they believe will cause the end of the world.
Huh.
Also, Cordelia, Wesley, and Gunn finally open their new detective agency, and Virginia helps them by landing them their first client to help jumpstart their business.
Neat.
Yep, so there's a potential that the world could end.
You know, a typical Tuesday or so within the Buffy universe.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for this week. So I've been Paul.
And I've been Dave.